Next Bank is proud to sponsor Digital Weather Desk with local meteorologist Jared Floyd.
The Digital Weather Desk is your local source for the latest weather information to help keep you and your family safe and to plan your week. You can follow us on our social media platforms, download our app, and you can also find us at digitalweatherdesk.com. The Digital Weather Desk,
Powered by Century Next Bank.
Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd. Happy Thursday. At least I think it's Thursday. It's been one of those weeks where we can't keep track of the day of the week, but either way, we're glad that you're joining us. Again, we're going to kind of roll through the forecast. Usually these daily live streams, we take a little bit of time to say hello to everybody and kind of bring in that community style feel to a look at our weather forecast. But with so many folks still without power, again, just trying to conserve battery, get the forecast through so folks can get what they need and then move on their way, especially with cold air headed our way this weekend. This morning's forecast made possible, again, by ServPro, Monroe, West Monroe, faster at any size disaster. Call or click servpro.com today. If you are experiencing water issues, water damage issues, and you need ServPro's help, call the local number, 318-345-5121, and they will get you squared away today. I-20 still moving smoothly and continuing to see a lot of drastic improvements as temperatures climb above freezing in a lot of spots this morning. The satellite shows a little bit of cloud cover, and that's obviously a hindrance. We'd prefer full sunshine to continue to help with the thaw and the melting process, but temperatures will do the trick today. Radar made possible by Brown's Roofing. Schedule your free roof inspection at brownsroofingla.com. We've done that because, well, we've got some shingles issues and just warped shingles and things that just don't look right. So I texted Jimmy last night, said, hey, put us on the list. We're not urgent. Put us at the bottom of the list. And he said, you're on it. I said, awesome. So again, if you have those issues, make sure you get squared away. Nothing doing in the radar department, although late Friday, early Saturday, some moisture could kind of get trapped in the Arctic air surge. And I wouldn't be surprised for some areas to maybe see a snow flurry or two during that stretch. Won't be that big of a deal, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities. Look at power outage numbers across the region this morning, and we are starting to see a lot of those reds, maroons, and purples turn to yellows and oranges, which is at least showing us some progress. And again, I know that these numbers are not where folks would prefer those numbers to be, but we are, again, making strides, making progress. The Floyd family's actual electricity came back on. We've been running on generator power. And we were very fortunate to have that standby generator. It was one of the first investments we made when we started the Digital Weather Desk. But our electricity came back on last night, as did, I think, most of our block. So we're kind of in the Midtown Monroe area. So, again, numbers are improving. And for those that are still without power, continue to remain patient. But I also have some good news in the temperature department, as most of us could actually stay above freezing tonight. How about that? That's also a positive sign. Again, a look at some of the sheer numbers of customers without power, and a look at some of our low temperatures this morning. Generally fell exactly where we thought they would land to, mid to upper 20s across most of the region. Right now, we're already above freezing, so, or at least most of us are above freezing. 36 in Monroe, 35 at El Dorado, 39 in Natchez, 37 in Vicksburg. As temperatures climb above freezing today, again, a reminder that if we are still, if your water system is still being taxed, that these are the times where we probably need to stop dripping our water faucets. And again, I've been stopping that as soon as we even approach freezing during the day. I went ahead and shut the water off to help our water systems try to recover from everybody dripping their faucets over the last week. So again, we're going to get above freezing and well above freezing today. Winds are back out of the south and southeast, and so Vanessa, these are not sheer Entergy numbers, by the way. The numbers that I'm sharing with you are from all power co-ops or power companies that allow for those numbers to be populated, or that send in number. That those numbers are populated by a third-party software service that then sends it into my graphics system. So those numbers give us an estimate. They are by no means like set in stone. They're just meant to give us kind of a ballpark idea of where those numbers are. And again, those are customers, not actual people. So that's, again, Well, and again, for folks that are getting frustrated, like I get it, and I've been there. We went through. We went through those with tropical systems, with Laura and Delta. We were without power. Again, the scope of the magnitude of this entire project was really made, real to me yesterday when we finally got out, at least in our immediate neighborhood, and even just a block or two over was a lot worse than our block, and our block's not great. So again, it's rough stuff. Lydia, hang in there. Again, another suggestion for folks without power and who are very cold. As the sunshine comes in today, open the windows. Let some of the solar energy into your house. I know a lot of folks are probably going, Jared, duh, we've been doing that every day. But if you've been sitting shuttered trying to keep the cold out during the night, make sure that you open those shutters and blinds and stuff and let the sun shine in today. Because, and that's not just one of those, things that you say to let the sun shine in, like literally let it into your house, because it will help. Drought monitor showing some improvements because of the ice. Futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports I-20 frontage road in Monroe shows those precipitation, the area of low pressure that dives southeast through the daytime hours, through the nighttime hours tonight into the early part of the day on Friday. Wraparound moisture could lead to some snowfall across the southeast. For us, it's moisture that's kind of trapped at the surface that could allow for some flurries late Friday night, early Saturday morning. Skies will clear as we head through the early half of the weekend, but it will be very cold and very breezy this weekend, but it'll be dry. For all intents and purposes. Winds will quickly return to the southwest by the early parts of next week, and that leads a warming trend that is more noticeable for the early parts of next week as well. 50s for highs, overnight lows still near the freezing mark, but getting above the freezing mark by the middle parts of next week. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook shows, above average precip, at least in the next 6 to 10 day outlook. Yes, and I would also continue, if you haven't report the outage, especially if folks in your neighborhood are starting to regain power, and the linemen that are so working so hard to get everything back up in order. I totally agree with that. Sonia remember to be safe while we melt. Still, trees will still uproot. Yes, falling ice is still a very real thing, and as I've mentioned, as you take a look at temperature outlook over the next 6 to 10 days, and you look at the high temperatures and the 7-day forecast and all that stuff, I'm just going to kind of roll through it as I talk. High temperatures today back into the 50s, mid-50s for some, upper 40s across southeastern Arkansas and through parts of the mid-Mississippi Valley, but it should be a very pleasant day. Lows tonight, below freezing for some, above freezing for others. How about that? The opportunity to maybe spend a night above freezing. It may be our only night that we get to spend above freezing in the next week, but it's that small victories. Look at the 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware. 40s for highs Friday, back into the 30s Saturday, 40s for Sunday, and then we start to see the climb for the middle parts of next week. A reminder, there is a lot of tree debris still stuck in our trees, and that's going to be a problem not only for today and for next week, but it's going to be a problem for the days, weeks, and months ahead of all of the tree branches that snapped because of the ice, started to fall, and then got caught by another tree branch and are stuck in the trees. It may not even take a 20-mile-an-hour wind gust, but if it takes a 20-mile-an-hour wind gust in the right direction, all of those tree limbs are going to have to come down at some point. So it's going to be a larger risk than most over the next days, weeks, and months to stand under any tree in the ArkLaMiss. That sounds kind of dramatic, but just be smart. When you hear something that sounds weird above you and you're like, it sounds like a tree branch falling, you may want to get out of the way, because again, these are all, they seem very elementary risks, but they are very real risks. And I don't think people realize the falling ice concerns and how that can be a problem. The ice that's coming off roofs, slides off in one big sheet, that can be a big problem. So be mindful of all those stuff. And yes, that is the problem, Vanessa. The tree debris is again, it's the smaller damage. It's not necessarily when an uprooted tree is on that's a problem, But sometimes you run in. We have tree limbs still on our lines, and we have power right now. So there's the chance that the right wind gust brings those lines down and we lose power again. Those are, again, all of the little new. I've heard a lot of folks also saying the same thing. We had power, but now we don't. Or we lost power, we got it back, and now we don't again. Because, again, of all these nuisance hindrances that continue to happen as we try to get power restored across the region. Again, this is one of those things that everybody's dealing with, and it's a natural disaster. There's no other way to slice it. It is a full-blown natural disaster, and we're all going to have to pick up the pieces together. Reminder, the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank, a digital weather platform serving 33 parishes and counties across northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, and western Mississippi. It is made 100% possible by the local businesses that you see there on your screen, and they stand by ready to help you during this whole thing. So, again, if you can use their services, a reminder that they're there. If you just appreciate what the Digital Weather Desk is doing and what that we have done through this week, just send them a quick Facebook message. Hey, thanks so much for supporting what you support, and keep doing it. Because, again, those messages matter. They do come back to me. I can't tell you how many times a business owner has come to me and said, hey, one of your viewers sent me this message last night, and that was really cool. They do make their way full circle. Thank you, Fireman Bobby. Move vehicles away from pitched roofs as well as to avoid vehicle damage from ice. We did that 3 different times yesterday. Is see vehicles that are at the bottom of a large pitch roof, that all of that's going to slide off at one time. And the last thing you want to do is make it through this entire storm relatively unscathed, and then have massive vehicle damage to your car because you just parked it in the wrong spot. Bobby's a good friend. He was in my wedding, and he's a firefighter. Not here, but he's a firefighter. And he knows what he's talking about. And he's dealt with more winter weather than we have. Becky asks, what was the total amount of ice? I'm planning on doing a storm wrap-up type thing next week. It's going to take some time to compile all the information and to try to get all of that out. It's really hard for us to discuss who saw what types of totals of ice versus sleet versus all this stuff, simply because those totals vary so wildly depending on location, and because the precip types varied wildly depending on location. Portions of southern Arkansas, all the way down to Ruston, it was more sleet than it was freezing rain. And then there was that transition line for areas like Bastrop and Marouge and Monroe, and really even farther south than Bastrop and Marouge. But from Ouachita Parish up through East Carroll Parish and stretching back to the southwest through Jackson and Wynn parishes, those are the areas that saw that heavy transition over to freezing rain and saw more actual ice accretion on stuff, bridges, overpasses, power lines, tree branches, things of that nature. So again, the totals vary so wildly, and to be honest with you, a lot of folks have asked, hey, when are you going to release all the totals? As soon as we can get them compiled and we do like a post-storm report, which I would like to do. Usually I would like to have those turned around in like a week and a half, just a little bit of like transparency of, hey, this is when we first kind of alerted you to this. This is when it hit. This is what we liked about the forecast. This is what we didn't like about the forecast. I know that a lot of my totals were very conservative and underdone. That was, essentially by design, because I wanted you folks to actually understand the hazards and believe me. If I came out here and told you 3 or 4 or 5 inches of sleet and ice was headed your way, nobody would have believed it. And so we tried to message it as best we could. But again, those are all types of things that we would like to kind of provide you, but we're still kind of crawling out of this, and I feel like it's insensitive and disrespectful to the folks that are still trying to get power back on for me to go, well, here's a look at how we felt the forecast did, and this is how much ice we had, blah blah. We're kind of still at ground zero of this entire event, just trying to help folks where we can, relay information where we can, and all that stuff. Falling porches. Our neighbor lost their porch due to ice and weight well after the storm. Let's see, today's Thursday, they lost it Tuesday. The precip had been done for a day and a half, but as snow as ice and sleet and stuff melts from your residential roof, and it then melts onto secondary porches and awnings and things like that, and then refreezes overnight as an ice block, again, adds more weight. and a lot of those things come down. So Sonia brings up a very good point. They can collapse with ice. They've received multiple calls even today that there is structural collapses still happening. So yeah, that is a very real issue. So be aware of that as we go through the next couple of days. Again, if it looks like something that took on a lot of ice or sleet and may be structurally unsound, don't stand under it. And that goes for awnings, porches, trees, anything. Those are all real risks, and we don't want folks winding up in the emergency room well after the storm's over just because you weren't being attentive. Forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app. I'll join you around midday with a live look at the forecast update, or just kind of a forecast update. Jenny, if you're just tuning in, we'll wrap up here in just a minute, and this forecast will kind of circle back around, reformat, and be out there for you to view at your viewing pleasure. But the highlights are this. Yes, that was the little one, and she's on one this morning. But here are the high points. Temperatures climb well above freezing today. Many areas may actually stay above freezing tonight. Power outages slowly improving, but will continue to take time. A lot of our main roads are making improvements, have made major improvements today. Hopefully a lot of our secondary roads will today as well. With today's sunshine, if you are without power, open up your blinds and your curtains and things like that and get that sunshine into your house to kind of help warm things up just a little bit. Again, forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com. I'll join you around midday. Too Long Didn't Read comes out in about 15 minutes or so. We'll provide information as we know it and as we receive it as we go through the rest of the week. Thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank as always. So glad you're here. Thanks for being part of our community, and we will update you again as we go through the rest of the day.